it's Caroline here from Aussie Cards and Crafts, and I'd like to thank you for joining me today. Today, what I would like to do is show you how to make a framed, well, what I'm calling a framed window card. Now, I haven't actually seen anything like this on the internet before, or on YouTube before. This one is my prototype, and it's obviously got no decoration on it, but I needed to obviously do this to work out what my measurements and how to do it were. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I've gone ahead and made a lot of decoration for it. I've made these beautiful flowers here that I'm going to use the same papers that can go on there. And if you're wanting to know how to make these flowers, I will see if I can link the poinsettia card that I did just before Christmas, because that's got all the instructions on how to make the flowers. They're not the same flowers, but the concept is all the same. So I actually sat there and watched a movie last night and made all of those. So what I'd like to do is to show you how to do this. It's a little bit fiddly, but if you follow the directions, I'm sure you won't have any issues. So I'll pop that over there because I dare say I'll need to refer to that. There's a few things you need. Let me go, I'll just pop these over to one side and bring my cutting board in so that I can give you the measurements. Firstly, you will need a base card that is 12 inches by 6 inches. Okay, now along the 6-inch side you need, along the 12-inch side you need to score at 6 inches. Now you'll notice that I have actually already done a head embossing sentiment on there. It just says have a fabulous birthday. That just saves me from doing it later. So there's your base card. On top of that you need another piece of white card, and this one is going to be 6 inches by, it's probably about 5 15/16 of an inch. So basically on one side just take a slither off, because what's actually going to happen is that is going to go in there. So it just makes it a bit easier. You can see that there's the score line there. So when we fold that over, which I might as well do now, when we fold that over, the other piece of card is going to fit in there perfectly. Okay, without falling over the end. Let me just get it round the right way, that way there. Okay, because that's going to actually go on the top there. So there's the two pieces. You also are going to need some acetate. Now the acetate that I've got is around about 5.5 by 5.5. You will need a matte piece. Now I've used a paper for my matte piece. Instead of using a card, I've used paper because it's going to be easier when I go to cut this through, because this one hasn't got a matte layer, it's only got the top layer. I was just, as I say, I was just really playing around with this. So your matte layer, and this one is actually let me get it, it's a kaleidoscope in sapphire. It's 120 GSM. Now if anybody wants this, let me know. I'm not sure whether this particular one is on my website at the moment, but I can certainly put it up there for you. So your matte layer is going to be 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and then your first pattern paper, and you're going to use 2 pattern papers. Your first pattern paper is going to be 5.5 by 5.5. So that is going to go on there, which is in turn going to go on the front of our card just here, and we are going to cut a big aperture out there. So we'll do that in a moment. You also will need, I've cut these frames because, as I say, this one wasn't decorated at all, but I gave myself overnight to think about how I wanted to do it, and I'm going to put a frame around there. This is going to be done in the same as that, and then when I lift up, this round circle here is going to be done in that. So when I close it down, and I can't put that that on there at the moment because I haven't cut it out, but you'll see that it will be, you'll just see that part round there that has got the different pattern on it. Okay, so you will need, and I'll go through the sizes of these, you'll need 2 large frames because you will put one there, and I thought it would also be nice, I can put that just on there, I thought it would be nice to have a frame around the outside of that and a frame around the inside of that, and also a frame around that one as well. So there's 4 frames that you need. Easy to make. I'm sure most of you know how to make them, but I'll quickly, very quickly run through them in a moment as to how you make them. So let's, now with this piece here, you will need a piece, depending on what size, on what shape of aperture you're going to cut. This one here is 4 1/4 inches. So you'd need it to be about 4 1/2 inches by 4 1/2 inches to actually get this piece out. And you will both use both of those pieces. Okay, so I'll pop that to one side as well. Now, to make your frames, oh, sorry, before I go on to that, I've also got some, you saw that I had actually put in one of the sentiments, and that is have a fabulous birthday, and that is a penny black one. It's called Heartfelt. Don't worry about that. I got it in the wrong envelope, but it's called Heartfelt, and that's the one that I used on the inside. On the outside, what I am going to do is I am going to put this happy birthday. Okay, just very plain, very simple, and just have happy birthday. But I can't do that until I've cut it out with you. The paper patterns that I'm using today are part of the Paper Boutique. They're called, this one is called the Sweet Treats. I used another one last week, a couple of days ago when I put the last card up. But I just love these. They are so, so pretty. You get all of these toppers in there as well. I'm not using one today, but I mean, you get even these little ones here, Happy Days, Just For You, etc. So they really are beautiful, beautiful pads. And you can see I'm using that one and I'm using that one. But there's also some gorgeous ones. Aren't they beautiful with the birds in the nest? And you can match that up with the feathers. So just absolutely stunning. I got these from Paper Flourish on Saturday, which is a store down in Paraka, and they had about 4 or 5 other ones, and gee, I think I'm going to go back and get some more because they really are very, 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 very pretty. So I'll pop these to one side because I don't need them right now. The other thing that you will need is that you will need some circle dies. Now, with my circle dies, you need 4. Okay, so if you've got 2 of the larger ones, now the largest one here is 4 1/2 inches. The next one down is 4 1/4. Now that is the size. The 4 1/4 one is the one that I have cut all my apertures with. The next one up was the one that I used to make my frame, my larger frame here. Okay, so that was so it's the second one down, which is the 4 1/4 inches for the main aperture. Now for your smaller cutout, you will need, whoopsies, let's get that one out of the way. You will need the 3 1/4 inch, and then because I want the frame on the inside of this, I have gone down to a 3 inch just to make the frames. So the largest one and the smallest one, once you've made your frames, you don't need them anymore. So the ones that you're going to need for your apertures are going to be your 4 1/4 inch and your 3 inch. Okay, so that I'm going to pop those 2 back into the packet there. I've also used some leaves, and what I've tried to do is match the shape of the leaves that are actually on the paper. And I have cut the leaves out in some scrap in some light blue and light green, because that kind of goes in with the colours there. And there's my flowers just here. So I'm going to arrange those in some way once I get to that stage of it. Okay, so let's get started. there is a little bit to do, and you do need to be a little bit careful with some of it. So I'll get rid of my scoreboard. Or the other things that I did use for my flowers, I cut them out, and I used the edge, one of the edging dies by Mates a Surprise. I don't know whether you can get it now, but if you can, all I did was I covered them over with a finger dauber with Wilted Violet, and then I went over the top with Blueprint Sketch. And on the edges, I just put a little bit of glue and a little bit of glitter just to give them a bit of bling, and that's how I made those. In the middle of the flowers, I used some rhinestones. These are Kaiser scrapbook ones in the black, and I just popped those into the centre. Okay, so that's what I've used. These are the two that I'm going to need. So what I need to do now is I need to firstly stick these, we'll leave these two aside there at the moment, but what we need to do is we need to firstly stick that down, and then we need to stick this one on top of it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that for you. Okay, so you notice that when I stuck those down, I did use a reasonable amount of glue. Because we're going to cut an aperture out here, it really is important that it is stuck down well. Now what I need to do is I need to cut an aperture in here. Now what I am going to do is, because I have already done that, and I want that to be slightly up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay that on there, and I'm just going to measure how far from, that's going to be 3/4 of an inch to the top of the die. In fact, I might make it a little bit further up. So I'm going to make that 5/8 of an inch from the top of the die, so that I know that when I cut this hole out there, that is going to be in the position that I want it to be in. So open your card up, and as I said, I wanted it to be 5/8 down, so that's 3/4, that's 5/8. Okay, and then when you've got it right there, just make sure that you've got your sides as even as you possibly can. I would tend to use some washi tape to hold this in position. Okay, so that just there, and excuse me, and that one just down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine, but as it's a noisy machine, I'm not going to, I'll either cut it out or make it go very fast and quiet. Oh, one thing I will do is I will put a piece of paper on it, over it as well, because my plates do tend to be just a little bit dirty. So, and there's not a great deal I can do about that, but I'll put that there and that there. Okay. Okay, now this, before I even open it up, I'll just tell you, oh goodness, you really should wait till your glue's dry before you do this. Okay, this might not go through the 3 layers depending on how thick your card or your paper is, but this one has by the feel of it. But just as I say, be very mindful. See how the glue has come out just there. I'm sure it will dry clearly. If not, I'll see if I can rub it out. And if you're wanting to get glue off of things, that you can buy that at your local craft store, and that they're a great little asset to have. They last forever, and you can get rid of glue if you put too much glue on something. Okay, now hold on to that, because what I am wanting to do is I am wanting to cut another piece out of that, and I'm going to put that in the center. But as you can see, my Have a Fabulous Birthday shines through there at the moment. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put on, firstly, I'll put this frame on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use this particular glue, which is a Express It 2-in-1, and it's got a brush on it. That's why I like it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, you will find that because it's only a very lightweight paper, the frame is not that easy to put on. But I wanted to match there, so yeah, that's okay. Right, now, next what we need to do is we need to grab our, oops, that's not it. We need to grab our other piece of card. Now remember, one of these is slightly smaller or slightly shorter, which is that way. So this is going to go that way in. So it is actually going to sit on the top like that. And the reason we've done that is because we wanted that room where that fold line is there. So what we need to do is put it into place, grab a pencil, and very lightly, just around the inside, oopsies, just around the inside, mark your circle. Okay, so we take that out. And what we need to do is use our large one again, line it up, make sure that it's in the correct position. And once again, I use tape because I just find it so much easier. And run that through your die cutting machine. Okay, so just take the washi tape off. Okay, so now we have that. We have this one here that is going to, and make sure you get it round the right way. So that will go there, so you won't see it. And then in the middle of that, we are going to stick, oopsies, I've got glue everywhere here. We are going to stick the acetate. What we now need to do is we now need to cut a smaller circle from this one here. Okay, now don't forget this is two layers thick. So just, you can use a ruler if you want, or just use your eyesight, entirely up to you. But we need to have this bit here in the center of our Now, you might also think, remember I told you we needed to cut that out. So that one's being cut out. That has actually got to be put, and I'll do this one now actually. That's actually got to be put right in just there. Okay, so that as you're looking through the window, you're actually seeing this pattern on the top, but you're seeing a different pattern underneath. So once again, you can very gently, and I won't put it all the way around, but you can very gently just make some marks so that you've got them in the right, you've got that circle in the right place. Now don't forget, I think I cut that out beforehand, but that one is going to be basically the same as this. Okay, so what we're doing, but I did that one beforehand because I wanted it in the center there. So we're doing the same thing as what I did for this, because we now not want the outside part, we want the inside part. Okay, so that's how we make these two pieces. And as you can see, last night I made, I did it slightly differently, but I didn't like that in the center. I want the same pattern in the center for the continuity. Okay, let's see how we went. Yep, looks pretty good. So there's our piece. So I'll just take very carefully. Washi tape can take the top off of your designer pattern paper if you're not really, really careful. Now that's got a bit of sticky just there. So this is where it's really handy to have one of these, and you can just rub that off. Okay, and there we have it. That is surplus, but if you were doing another one of these cards, you might want that on the inside and something else on the outside. So never throw them away. Okay, so here we go back with our card again. So what we've got to do is we now need to stick this down and make sure it is in the right position. And this is where we went round with our pencil to make sure that it is there. Okay, so I'll stick that down now. Right, next we need to get some tape and we need to stick our acetate over there. Okay, so what we're going to do is just pop acetate all around the outside of the, let me just check that that's in the right position. No, it's not. I could just see a little bit of it, a little bit of my pencil mark there. So I just need to see if I can get it moved. And then when you close it down, it fits perfectly. Okay, so now, as I was saying, we now get our acetate piece and pop some tape around the outside edges of that. Okay, so you might have seen I've just taken the tape off of the bottom there. It's not going to hurt because we're going to put another piece over that. But because I used a scrap piece up, by using the 1/2 inch tape on the side of it, it came over my window, and that's certainly not what I wanted. So we've now got our window in. Now what we need to do is we need to, firstly, we need to put this in just like so. Okay, now you can, if you want, match them up, but I'm not going to worry about it. Then this piece is going to go exactly on the top, the other side of the window, so that you're not going to see any of the tape that is going to attach it. After that, we will then put that other piece that we cut the aperture out of, and we will put that over like so, so that you will hide all of this. So let me go ahead and do that for you. I will be using foam tape to put that on, but flat tape to put this one on. One thing I did forget to do. Before I put my foam tape on there, I do want to put happy birthday on there, and I'm going to heat emboss the happy birthday. So I'm going to use my magic pillow. I'm going to use that all over that. I'll pop one of my magnets there to hold it in place. And I am going to use, here it is here. I'm going to use happy birthday, and I'm just going to have it central in there. Okay, so I'm sure you've all done heat embossing before, but I'll go through it with you again anyway. Okay, so there we go. We have our lovely happy birthday already put there. And now what we need to do is we need to put this right over the same spot as that. Okay, so making sure it's nice and straight, you pop it on there. Now, this is where I'd started to do it with the, and I realised with the mounting tape, and I've realised I hadn't actually done my embossing. And the final part is this piece just here. Now that's not the right way. You can always tell. I think that's the right way. Because we lined it up beforehand, we can always tell. So that's the way it's got to go. So I'll put the tape across there, down there and there. There we go. So there is our card, and as you can see, as you open it up, you get the beautiful picture of the contrast. If you close it up, you get that contrast. Now what I need to do is to put some finishing touches on. So I'm going to pop some another frame there, and I want another 2 frames on the inside because I think that the framing that would look nice. Whoopsies. And I think framing that would also look nice. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm also going to start rearranging these and put them on. I'll leave the camera running, but I will speed it up so you don't get too bored. So let me go ahead. There we go. So there is my card, all finished. To the best of my knowledge, it's an original design. I dreamt it up the other night when I was in one of my waking hours through the night. And yeah, I'm actually quite pleased with it. I might just put a little bit of green under there. Let's just see. Yeah, there we go. So I'm very pleased. You can obviously write your message there. And yeah, I did see one on Maximum Craft that it wasn't like this at all. It was a side fold card, and what she had actually done is, and I've put them all away now, but she had actually used a big die here to cut out the majority of the card, and she had put acetate in there like I have and put this folder on, and that's what gave me the idea. But then there was nowhere to write. Once you had that part cut out, there was actually nowhere to write your message. So I thought, well, if you were to do it the other way. So that's what I've done. I hope you like it. I certainly do. Yeah, I'll look forward to giving that to somebody. It's a 6x6 footprint, so it means that it will fit in a 6x6 envelope. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please give me a thumbs up, and if you're following me on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel because that really helps me. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you are not a member of our Facebook page, please head on over to our Facebook page, and we would love to welcome you there. There are a lot of extremely talented people on that page, and just a very, very, very friendly, happy community. So I'm really proud of that. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to get together with you again soon. But until then, happy crafting. Thank you.